Please Explain Alzheimer's Disease to Me by Lori Zillinger. A children's story about and a parent handbook about dementia. Loving Healing Press, Ann Arbor, Michigan. This book is dedicated to my grandmother Anna, who invented words when she could not summon the ones she wanted, and who so aptly created cloggy to describe a dreary day filled with clouds and fogs. My mother Shirley, a scientist, who described her vanishing memory as her greatest loss. Both of these women lived and died with dementia. My father, Simon, who liked to say at the age of 103, "I still have most of my marbles," and he did, but who asked me to share with my readers that old people want to be remembered as they were, not as they are now. He passed away when this book was in its final stage of production, and to the baby boom generation. My name is Seth, and this is my cousin Shepherd, but we call him Shep for short. I get to see my cousin on weekends when we go to our grandmother's house for Sunday dinner. We have so much fun playing together, and just about always one of the grown-ups tell us we're making too much noise or saying, no running in the house." It's always the same. Every Sunday, Grandma makes chicken soup, meat, potatoes, and noodles, and she buys our favorite cake for dessert. It's always the same, and I like it that way. Last time we were there, Shep was hiding in the kitchen, and I went to look for him when something hysterical happened. All of a sudden, Grandma's refrigerator started to ring, and it kept ringing. We opened the door, and guess what? We saw Grandma's phone in there, right next to the cream cheese. We laughed so hard that I got a pain in my side. My mom came in to make sure we weren't getting into trouble, and I told her about the phone. She didn't think it was so funny. In fact, she didn't laugh one tiny bit. She made a weird face and walked into the other room. Shep and I kept playing, and since it was my turn to hide, I squeezed behind the couch. When I peeked out, I saw my mother whispering to my aunt. They both looked worried. Somebody said dinner was ready, and we all sat down in our regular places. Grandma sat next to the kitchen. Near the kitchen, Shep sat next to me. It's always the same, and I like it that way. The food was delicious, except for the potatoes. They were burnt. Grandma said she forgot to turn off the oven, and they cooked so long that the house got smoky. That part wasn't the same. I love dessert, but I still get excited for dinner to be over anyway. That's when Grandma gives us a little prize she bought at the 99-cent store she always goes to, and we get to play with it while the grown-ups talk and clean up. Shep and I waited and waited and waited, but Grandma never gave us the prize that night. I'm not spoiled, and I know I shouldn't always expect a present, but it's always the same, and I like it that way. In my most polite voice, I asked Grandma if she went to the 99-cent store this week. She gave me a hug and said that she tried to, but then she got lost on the way and ended up walking around the neighborhood for a long time. By the time she figured out how to get home, she forgot what she went for. Grandma never got lost before. That part was not the same. We didn't go to Grandma's house the next Sunday or the one after that, but when we did go back, my mother and my aunt cooked dinner instead, while Grandma sat quietly by the window. At mealtime, there was another change. Mom sat next to the kitchen, and Grandma sat in a different seat. Things looked a little mixed up. Grandma said Mom's cooking was good, but not as good as hers, and we all laughed. She tried to tell us how she learned to cook when she was a little girl, but her story got confusing, because she kept saying the wrong words and forgot some people's names. I was starting to feel weird watching Grandma act this way. Back at home that night, Mom told me that she saw me watching Grandma. She asked how I was feeling and if there was anything I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to be rude or say anything bad, but I knew something was different, and I was a little scared to say it out loud. Mom knew what I was thinking and tried to explain it to me. She told me that Grandma had a special kind of forgetting. It's different from the kind of forgetting that we all have, sometimes. Everybody forgets some stuff, like when I forgot to do my math homework or brush my teeth or where I put my favorite video game. That's normal because it happens to everyone. But Grandma's kind of forgetting is different. Grandma's brain is changing because she has something called Alzheimer's disease. It's pronounced Alzheimer's. Some people call it dementia, and that's pronounced dementia. It just happens by itself to some people when they get old, but it doesn't happen to everybody. We can't catch it or anything. Mom drew a picture of a brain for me, and it looked like this. Then she described how Grandma's brain was different. She explained that our brains are in charge of everything in our body, and the different parts have different jobs. It kind of looks like the different places at school that are for different activities. All the departments are separate, but sometimes they have to send each other messages and work together. Mom said that's one part of the brain wants to send a message to another department. The message goes through special pathways, but the departments in Grandma's brain aren't working the way they used to. It is harder for them to get messages, and so she gets confused. Her pathways are getting clogged and tangled up, kind of like the way my hair gets after we wash it. Mom said we can get the knots out of my hair by brushing it, but there's no way to get the tangles out of Grandma's brain. Wouldn't it be so cool if we could wave a magic wand and say, Abracadabra, ABC, get rid of Grandma's tangles, 1, 2, 3. I found out that Grandma will forget more and more things, but will probably remember things from the olden days better. She'll need help doing the things that she used to do for everyone else. And she might get grouchy more often. Medicine will help a little, but nobody can make Alzheimer's go away. It can't be fixed or get better or go back to the way it was before. One day, Grandma might need other grown-ups to go to her house to help her. She might even come to live with us, or with Shep or my other aunt and uncle. Or maybe there will just be a different special place that will be just right for her instead. That part won't be the same, and I probably won't like it, but I will get used to it. I felt sad and scared and thought about ways I could help. Mom told me that if Grandma's mind and body stays active, it might help a little. Then I remembered how we used to play some word games together, like thinking of a letter of the alphabet. The last time we played, Grandma picked artichoke, I picked banana, and then she said cake, but she knows that's my favorite dessert. We got all the way to the letter Q, but then had to stop because we couldn't think of anything. I decided I can read to Grandma and teach her how to use new apps on her cell phone. I can make a photo album with pictures of Shep and me and all my aunts and uncles. And I can make her a memory wallet with important information about herself and our family. And I can help her write addresses on the envelopes she has to mail. I will tell Grandma stories, teach her words. I will learn in other languages and sing songs that I know she likes. We can do exercises together, and when she has trouble walking, I can push her wheelchair. Maybe we will even go to the 99-cent store together. I will remind Grandma how much I love her, even if she doesn't remember me. We will still see Grandma on Sundays. Shep and I will still get yelled at for running around and making too much noise, and somebody will make dinner. We have to make sure that we all eat healthy food, so from now on, vegetables and fish will be on the table, right next to the meat and potatoes. Some things will be different, but a lot of things will still be the same. I like it that way.
Hi,
Parent
thanks for
Caregiver
letting me
Handbook
read
and
to
talking
you
to your
today.
kids.
And I just wanted to let you know that this book also has some great information at the end of the book about Alzheimer's and caregiving and just pretty much everything you need to know. So I encourage you to go to Amazon and check it out. Hope you like the reading. Bye-bye.